Develop skills for each type of question in IELTS reading. There are around 14 different types of IELTS reading questions, and you need to find a strategy to tackle each one. Some question types have answers that come in order, and others do not. This type of information will help you not only save time, but also locate the right answers. Follow the link to learn about the IELTS reading question types. Most students struggle with true-false not given questions. See this IELTS TFNG video to learn how to approach this type of question. You can find free practice reading lessons for different types of questions on this page, IELTS reading practice lessons and tips. Skimming and scanning reading skills. You should be able to skim and scan passages to do well in IELTS. Skimming is reading a passage to get a general idea of the content. This is recommended to do before you tackle the questions. All types of questions except one are given after the passage because it is recommended to skim read the passage before the questions. This does not mean you try to understand the passage. It's just a chance to get a sense of the topic and layout. You should skim read the full passage in 2 to 3 minutes, not longer. At the same time, you should underline any key words you see. The only types of questions which comes before the passage is matching headings. For those, you don't need to read the passage first. Scanning is your ability to locate information quickly and has no relation to comprehension of the passage. Develop your speed reading skills. IELTS has a strict time limit which will really challenge your ability to complete the questions in time. You must develop speed reading skills to be able to find your answers quickly. This means you must be able to scan the passage quickly to locate information. Always keep your eye on the clock in the test. For the paper test, there's be a clock on the wall. For the computer test, it is given at the top of the screen. Don't try to understand the full passage. Your task is to locate answers only. Most questions test your ability to locate specific information given to you and then to comprehend the sentence or sentences which contain that information. There are only 2 types of questions which will require a more detailed understanding of the whole passage: matching headings and choosing a title. All other questions are based on locating information. Developing vocabulary. This is one of the key reasons why students don't get the score they need. Learning vocabulary is not just about learning the meaning of a word, it is about learning when you can and can't use a word. It is also about what collocations can be used with words, for example, verbs and match nouns. You should write word lists that include common paraphrases and also any problems you had finding the answer. You can do this by learning vocabulary from practice reading passages. There is not a set vocabulary list to learn for IELTS reading, unlike IELTS writing and speaking. For IELTS reading, it is about broadening your vocabulary by reading on many different topics and learning to navigate through different language. Keywords. Each IELTS reading question will have keywords to help you locate the information in the passage and to spot the right answer. You should learn to spot keywords and use them correctly. You should also check whether the keywords can be paraphrased. You will soon learn to use keywords correctly when you review your answers in practice reading lessons. Some keywords are obvious, for instance, names, dates, numbers, places, etc. Other keywords are more subtle. Grammar. Question types such as summary completion and sentence completion require that the sentence is grammatically correct when you have put the answer in. This means that grammar can help you to spot the right answer. Many students post question on this blog asking me why one answer is correct and the other is not. The reason is often grammar related. You will see this when you do practice reading lessons. More tips to improve your IELTS reading. 1. Practice makes perfect. Unless you practice regularly, you won't improve. Here's a link to all my reading lessons for IELTS. The lessons are useful for students taking both the GT test and academic test because they're aimed at building skills, understanding of question types, and also vocabulary. 2. Getting used to difficult passages. If you have time before your test, you should be widening your reading skills and familiarity of complicated passages on a range of topics. Read the BBC News, The New Scientist, The Economist, etc. 3. IELTS practice reading tests. You can find practice tests online for free. See my useful websites page for links. Or you can buy the IELTS Cambridge test books. Number 10 is the most recent. You should use IELTS practice reading tests for two purposes: to develop your skills, practice different types of questions and enhance your vocabulary, and to test yourself under exam conditions to check your score and check if you have developed or no. 4. GT test. The first two passages in the GT test are different to the academic test, but the third passage is similar. To practice the first two types of reading passages, you can practice reading materials such as instruction manuals, schedules, and employment terms. You can find practice tests in the IELTS Cambridge books. The same skills and question types apply to both GT test and academic test, so all lessons on this blog will be useful to GT students. 5. Know your weaknesses. Unless you know your weaknesses, you won't know how to improve. You must check the reasons why you are getting your answers wrong or right. If you are getting answers wrong due to your understanding of the passage, then you know you must improve your English. If you are getting answers wrong because you couldn't find the information, or you didn't understand the question, or you ran out of time, then the problem is your technique and strategies. Spend time reviewing your performance. 6. Be realistic. If your level of English is not strong, don't expect to get band score 7. 7. Plan your training for IELTS reading. You should spend time developing vocabulary and paraphrasing awareness through broad reading practice, practicing particular question types, developing speed in locating information, doing practice tests not under exam conditions so you can work on skills, doing practice tests under exam conditions to test your score and improvement. 8. You must prepare. Like all tests, you need to prepare. Even native speakers need to prepare by learning about the different types of questions and developing the right skills. Achieving a high IELTS score requires understanding the test format, consistent daily practice, and strengthening core English skills. Focus on mastering time management, expanding vocabulary, and practicing under timed conditions. Key strategies include using varied sentence structures in writing and speaking, developing skimming and scanning skills for reading, and immersing yourself in English media. Key preparation tips for a high score. Understand the test format. Familiarize yourself with all 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, and the specific types of questions in each. Create a routine. Dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes daily to practice to improve consistently. Practice with mock tests. Take full-length timed mock tests to build stamina and identify weak areas, particularly closer to the exam. Improve reading skills. Practice skimming, reading for main ideas, and scanning, searching for specific information on varied texts like newspapers and journals. Enhance writing structure. Practice writing essays with clear, one-idea paragraphs and spend 5 minutes planning before you write. Boost vocabulary. Focus on using synonyms and academic vocabulary to avoid repetition, especially in writing task 2. Improve speaking fluency. Practice speaking with others or recording yourself to reduce filler words. Do not memorize answers, as this reduces scores. Active listening. Listen to English podcasts, news, and interviews to become accustomed to different accents.